Welcome to Life Begins at 50, a space where we rediscover strength, peace, and our true worth after 50. If this is your first time here, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss content created especially for your next chapter. Wiser, deeper, and more meaningful. Have you ever felt overlooked or dismissed? Not by yelling or direct insults, but by being interrupted again and again, by that distant look when you're speaking, or by the kind of humor that makes you feel small. You're left wondering, should I speak up? Should I ignore it? Or should I just stay quiet to keep the peace? The older we get, the easier it becomes for others to treat us as if we're invisible. But silence doesn't solve the problem. In fact, it slowly chips away at the confidence and dignity you've spent a lifetime building. Today, I want to walk with you through a few gentle but powerful ways to handle disrespect without losing your calm or your sense of self. You don't need to raise your voice. You don't need to argue endlessly. When you understand these quiet tools, you'll enter every room with calm assurance, and people will listen. Because the truth is, you don't have to tolerate behavior that makes you feel small. You've earned your voice, and it's time to use it, not with noise, but with grace. Let's begin. One of the most powerful things you can do when someone treats you without respect is to draw a boundary and stick to it. Not once, not just when it feels easy, but every single time. Because here's the truth, people test limits, often without even realizing it. They notice what you tolerate, and if you let something slide once, even if it bothers you, they assume it's fair game next time too. A firm boundary doesn't require shouting. It doesn't need a long explanation. Sometimes it's as simple as saying, "I don't allow that kind of tone with me." Or, "Please stop talking over me. I'm still speaking." And if they keep doing it, you walk away. You switch topics. You reduce how often you interact with them going forward. You don't need to argue. You don't need their approval. You just need consistency. The mistake many of us make, especially those of us raised to be polite and accommodating, is over-explaining. We soften our message, try not to offend, and end up giving others a way to ignore what we said. But the more you calmly and clearly repeat your line, the more they realize you're not going to bend just to keep things comfortable. That's when true respect starts to grow, not from fear, but from clarity. There's a woman I once knew named Margaret. She's 76 now, retired teacher and proud grandmother of 5. Sweetest person you'd ever meet. But she had one rule everyone knew: no sarcasm at her dinner table. Years ago, a couple of relatives made snide remarks during a meal, trying to be funny. Margaret looked up, smiled gently, and said, "Not here." And just like that, it never happened again. She didn't yell. She didn't scold. She simply set the tone, and that tone created a space where everyone understood. Respect is expected in this home. Boundaries aren't about building walls. They're about showing others how to treat you. And when you hold that line with quiet strength, you stop chasing respect and start commanding it naturally. When someone crosses the line, whether with a dismissive remark, a condescending tone, or simply brushing you off, your gut reaction might be to snap back. Your heart might beat faster, your throat might tighten, and you may feel that wave of irritation rising in your chest. That's completely normal. You're human. But here's the key. Your greatest power in that moment isn't in reacting, it's in remaining calm. Why? Because disrespect often feeds on reaction. People who belittle others are often chasing one of two things: control or conflict. If you explode, they feel in charge. If you explain too much, they brush you off. But when you hold steady, when you answer their heat with a grounded presence, you shift the energy completely. You keep your dignity. You send a silent message: "I'm not easily rattled." That doesn't mean pretending it didn't hurt. It means taking a breath, pausing, letting that emotion rise and fall, and then choosing your response from a place of clarity. Not anger, not fear. That kind of strength isn't loud. It doesn't shout. It's calm, rooted, and firm. It might sound like, "That comment wasn't okay." Or simply, "I don't accept that." And then silence. Let them sit with it. You don't need to fill the space. You don't have to convince them of anything. You're standing in your truth. I remember a man named Franklin, 79 years old, soft-spoken with a steady gaze. During a community meeting, a younger member tried to interrupt him twice. Franklin didn't raise his voice. He calmly stopped, looked the person in the eye, and said, "I'll continue when I'm being heard." Then he waited, and slowly, the energy in the room shifted. Franklin didn't demand respect. He embodied it. That's the quiet power of calm. It doesn't mean you accept being mistreated. It means you refuse to let someone else's bad behavior shape your foundation. And with time, people start to realize they can't manipulate you with chaos. You're grounded. You're steady. And that unsettles anyone who thrives on pushing buttons. So the next time someone tries to get a rise out of you, don't give them anything to push. That's real strength. Sometimes the most respectful thing you can do for yourself isn't saying more. It's stepping back. When someone continually shows they don't respect you, even after you've spoken up or responded calmly, your next move isn't to try harder. It's to pull away. Not out of anger, not from resentment, but from a quiet understanding of your worth. Here's something many people forget. You don't owe anyone unlimited access to your time, energy, or presence. No matter how long you've known them, whether they're family, an old friend, or part of your social circle. Respect isn't something you beg for. It's something you expect. And when it's not given, you adjust. That might look like shorter chats, fewer visits, delayed replies, or simply letting the relationship fade naturally. You don't need to make an announcement. You just shift your focus. You give more of your time to those who uplift you, and less to the ones who drain you. And what's powerful about this? It teaches people without you needing to say a word. It says, "I noticed. I value myself enough to step away. And I don't owe you an explanation for that." I once met a woman named Joanne, 70 years old. For years, she spent every holiday with her extended family. But year after year, she endured subtle jabs about her choices, her appearance, even how she raised her children. She used to smile and endure it, until one year she didn't. She told me, "I just stopped going. I didn't argue. I didn't make a scene. I made different plans." And that year, she finally felt peace. Her absence sent a message. And surprisingly, some relatives eventually reached out, not to fight, but with more respect. Now, not everyone will change. And that's okay. The ones who don't, they were never really your people. Protecting your peace isn't rude. It's wise. Especially as you get older, your time becomes more sacred. Your calm becomes more precious. And the people you let close should reflect that. Not because you're trying to be better than anyone, but because you've finally realized your worth. And now you choose accordingly. When someone disrespects you, it's easy to fall into a trap, explaining too much. You try to justify how you feel. You give background. You try to help them understand why their words or actions weren't okay. But often, that doesn't bring clarity. It brings confusion. It hands control of the conversation over to the other person. It gives them room to twist your words. And worst of all, it sends the wrong message, as if you're asking them for permission to be respected. But you don't need permission. You don't have to explain your worth. You just have to state it clearly. And the best way to do that? Use short, direct statements that leave no room for confusion. I'm not okay with that. That doesn't work for me. Let's continue this when we're both being respectful. These phrases don't invite arguments. They don't spiral into back and forth drama. They create a line, and that line matters. When you speak like this, you keep the attention on the behavior, not on defending yourself. And that's key when dealing with someone who never truly listens. I once knew a man named Walter, 81 years old. He spent decades trying to keep a friendship going, one that was filled with little digs and underhanded remarks. Every time his friend crossed a line, Walter would respond with long, thoughtful explanations, hoping to be understood. But nothing ever changed. Then one day, he looked his friend in the eye and simply said, "You don't get to speak to me like that anymore." And he walked away. The friendship ended not long after. But Walter told me it was the first time in 20 years that he truly felt respected, because he finally respected himself enough to stop explaining. This isn't about being cold. It's about being clear. When your words are calm and direct, they carry weight. You don't have to shout. You don't have to prove anything. You're not here to convince people of your value. You're living it. And that kind of clarity, it echoes louder than any argument. It quietly says, "I value myself, and if you can't meet me there, you don't get more of me." The people you choose to have in your life shape more than just your days. They shape how you see yourself. If you spend your time around those who talk over you, ignore your input, or treat your kindness like weakness, it starts to wear on you. Slowly, you begin to question your voice. You shrink, not because you want to, but because you've been conditioned to expect less. But the opposite is also true. When you surround yourself with people who genuinely respect you, who listen when you speak, who ask how you are and actually wait for your answer, you rise. You speak with more confidence. You carry yourself differently. And suddenly, disrespect becomes far easier to recognize and much harder to tolerate. You don't need a dramatic life change. You don't have to cut everyone out or build a brand new circle overnight. But you do need to start paying attention. Ask yourself, who makes me feel heard? Who helps me feel calm, even in silence? Those are the people showing you what healthy connection looks like. And once you've experienced that, it becomes harder to settle for anything less. I once met a woman named Dolores, 78 years old. She told me that for most of her life, she felt she had to earn respect from family, from friends, even at church. It felt like she always had to prove herself. Then one day, she joined a local walking group for seniors. They didn't care what I used to do for work, she said. They just liked having me around. That small shift changed everything. Being part of a group that valued her simply for who she was helped her speak up more boldly in places that didn't. Because respect isn't something you chase. It's something you build, first within yourself, and then around you. And once your inner confidence matches the company you keep, you naturally stop attracting people who take you for granted. When others see you spending your time with those who value you and treating yourself with quiet dignity, it sends a message without a single word. It says, "I know my worth. I don't settle. And I choose to be around those who recognize that too." People don't have to be perfect to be in your life, but they should make you feel safe. And if they don't, you have the right to choose better. Because after everything you've lived through, and everything you've given, you've earned a circle that reflects the value you bring. By now, you might have seen parts of yourself in these stories. Moments when you stayed quiet to keep the peace. Times when you gave someone yet another chance, hoping they'd finally treat you with the care you deserve. That wasn't weakness. It was hope. But eventually, hope has to grow into action. And that action starts with a simple truth. You deserve better. So what stood out to you most today? Was it the power of staying calm under pressure? The strength in holding a boundary with quiet confidence? Or maybe the reminder that walking away isn't giving up, it's growing up. Each of these steps isn't just a technique. They're statements. They say, "I matter. I will no longer make myself small just to stay in places that don't honor me." And if a part of you is thinking, "I wish I had known this sooner," that's okay. Because the best time to protect your peace isn't years ago, it's now. You're not too old to draw a boundary. You're not too late to change the company you keep. You're right on time to stand taller, speak more clearly, and stop explaining your value to people who were never truly listening. Respect isn't just handed to you. It's taught through your consistency, your clarity, and your quiet courage. even when no one's watching. Every time you speak with calm, every time you step back, every time you choose peace over chaos, you're showing the world how to treat you. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be loud. You just have to believe that you deserve more than scraps of kindness, and keep acting like it, day after day. Thank you so much for spending time with us today. If something in this message resonated with you, leave a comment below and share what you're taking with you. Your words matter here. Your voice is welcome. And if you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need this reminder. We're here for you, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.